It's late summer, 1936. You're taking a walk with your wife and children downtown Berlin towards the Garden of Beasts, a large park with big animal statues in bronze and stone. Your son is excitedly explaining to you everything he saw at the 1936 Olympics. You were able to take him. You had the money to. Now, you saw these things too, as did your wife, as did your daughter, but you're going to listen as he explains it, because he is determined to be a gymnast. He wants things. You knew better than to want things growing up. Your father, as a public servant and profound alcoholic, made sure that there was very little money in the house, and between his shrapnel-ridden alcoholism and the economic devastation of hyperinflation, you knew better than to desire. But your son desires something, and you will always encourage it. You and your family continue walking past large apartment blocks that have always been there, that you've never noticed. But there's something strange there today. A pile of furniture, all new, all in good condition, is laid out in the street, and vacancy signs are hanging in the front of some of the windows. Your son grabs your sleeve. Daddy, Daddy, where are the soldiers taking those people? Why are there soldiers by the apartment? Now you're curious. But these soldiers are not soldiers at all, you explain to him. They are the Sturmarbeitler. They are the brown shirts. And they are escorting a family of people that you don't know out of the apartment building. Your son asks why. Where are they going? What have they done? And you don't know how to answer him. Your wife taps you on the shoulder, the way she always does when she is insinuating that little ears don't need to know everything. You change the subject, continue walking. Down the road, you hear it far before you see it, is a marching column of more Sturmarbeiten men carrying flags, singing songs with their right hands extended in the salute that everyone does these days. You started doing that salute too, as did your co-workers. At first, it was the thing to do, but now you've noticed that when people don't do it, they get criticized. Sometimes by their peers, sometimes by their boss. You know better than to rock the boat. You're one of the little men, and little men don't rock the boat. The marching column passes by. You pay no mind to what happens after, but you do notice across the street that in one of the cafes, an older man did not stand and raise his hand as you did. You assumed you must have been imagining it. Maybe he sat down beforehand, or maybe he raised his arm while he was sitting. He is very aged after all, and it might be difficult for him to stand up all of a sudden. But those men in the uniforms, the ones not marching, but straggling near the back, they saw it too. And they go over to the old man and begin to converse with him. Before long, they're picking him up and helping him away from the cafe. Your son asks you, Daddy, Daddy, what is happening? Why are they taking that man? He wasn't bothering anyone. Your wife taps you on the shoulder again, more insistently this time, and you make haste to change the subject. Times are good, and it's best not to rock the boat. A new clerkship opened up for you, after all. People that rock the boat don't get new clerkships. You were surprised that it did. These clerkships are sought after, high-paying, with good benefits, and it came available out of nowhere. You didn't feel too qualified to take the position, and yet you did. It was offered to you gladly. All you had to do was show the correct paperwork, and you have so much paperwork these days about who you are, about where you come from, about who your family was, reports on your physical fitness and mental well-being, lots and lots of papers in this new world. But it's good, because you have your clerkship. You assume that the person who previously occupied that desk had been promoted. After all, nobody quits a clerkship with an opportunity like this one. It is late summer, 1945. Your son is no longer asking you incessant questions. By God, you wish he could again. Your wife and daughter are not with you, neither in person or in life. They left in the middle of the night. You encouraged them to go, though did not ask specifics and certainly demanded that they not share any with you. You would be culpable after all. You were informed via letter that they were stopped at a border crossing, not far from Switzerland, by the SS and branded traitors. They did not come home. Leaflets are falling around the city just as often as bombs now, and these leaflets have information on them that wasn't available to you before. Granted, you knew what the leaflets meant. You knew it was always true, what was on the leaflets, but you didn't have to. You didn't have to look at it, at where the family in that apartment went, of who was occupying your clerkship desk and why they weren't anymore. There were no more homeless people on Kaiser Wilhelmstrasse. You loved that, but now you know where they went. Things aren't good anymore. Things haven't been good for a long time. You told yourself that you didn't believe all that warmongering junk. You voted the way you did for the economy. You didn't believe all that hatefulness. That's just misinformation. The press is always running a story. You were in it for bringing jobs back. You weren't in it because of anyone that was less than you, worse than you. You just wanted to feel like one of the big men for the first time in your life. Well, soldier, you're a big man now. One of the only ones left. So take up your rifle